I want to say something directly, especially if you listen to the previous episode where I spoke about the space people enter after deciding to change and you recognized yourself in it. That in-between phase, that space where you've let go of an old role but haven't yet fully stepped into a new one, is not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. And that's not an obvious danger, it's a quiet one. And that's because it feels like nothing is happening. And because of that, many people assume that time alone will resolve it. But it usually doesn't. What actually happens is more subtle. Weeks turn into months. Months turn into a year. And one day you realize you're still thinking about change, but you're no longer moving toward it. This is where many transitions hold back. Not before the decision and not after everything is clear, but right here, the part we rarely talk about. Welcome to Personal Development Mastery Podcast. In the previous episode, 573, I spoke about the sense of loss, the drop in energy, the feeling of being disconnected after stepping away from an identity that once defined you. What I didn't say then, and what matters now, is this. This phase does not resolve itself automatically just because you are patient. It resolves when orientation returns. And orientation almost never comes from the same way of thinking that created its loss in the first place. Let me explain what I see again and again, and I have also experienced it myself in my own transitions. People in this phase usually fall into one of three patterns. The first is overthinking. You reflect, you journal, you analyze, you listen to podcasts like this one. You are trying to think your way into clarity, but clarity isn't forming. The second pattern is self-coaching. You tell yourself that you should be grateful or brave or disciplined. You try to motivate yourself back into motion using the same inner voice that worked in your old role, even though that role no longer fits you. And the third pattern is silent endurance. You assume that this is just a phase to be survived. You don't want to make a fuss. You don't want to seem uncertain. So you wait. You quietly wait, hoping something will click. If you recognized yourself in one of these three phases, pay attention, because none of them are neutral. They might feel responsible, they might look mature, but over time they convert that in-between space into a continuous pattern. And this is the part that's uncomfortable to admit. Staying alone in this phase is not a strength. It's a risk. Not because you're weak, but because this is an identity transition. You are relearning how you make decisions and how you trust your own judgment. that's not something most people can do effectively on their own. This is a phase that I work with often. Not when someone wants motivation, and not when everything is already clear, but especially when you are between identities, when you need orientation, not reassurance. In the coaching sessions I have with people in this space, we don't spend our time exploring options endlessly. We do something much more grounded. We look at what this transition is actually asking of you right now. We look at what needs to stop so your energy can return, and also what a realistic next movement looks like. Not a big reinvention, simply a direction that you can move toward. And the outcome of this isn't excitement. It's steadiness. And steadiness is what allows momentum to come back. So here's the part that I want to soften. If you are in this in-between and you do nothing, you will still change, but slowly, unconsciously, and often in ways you didn't choose. If you don't want to drift here for months, this is the moment to get support. You can book a session with me via the link in the show notes or by going to personaldevelopmentmasterypodcast.com/mentor. And if you're not ready, that's fine too. Just don't confuse waiting with moving forward.